Welcome back to the Einstein Bots for Salesforce Admins video series. To my 2 loyal subscribers, thank you for your patience. My wife and I had a beautiful little girl, so I had to get away from my computer for a little bit. But I'm back, baby. We're doing this thing. Let's go ahead and finish out this series. So the next thing we need to talk about is the custom object that we can use to basically have a summary of what in the world is happening with our chatbot. So I named this thing Bot Session. You're a Salesforce admin. You should know how to create an object at this point, or at least that's what I'm assuming. So name it whatever you want. Bot Session is not trademarked. If you want Bot Session, it's all yours. If you want to name it, whatever you want, do it. So this is like any other object. We can have any kind of field on it. So I've got like a case lookup. I have an example that's already built that we're going to create a case. So we're going to obviously want to be able to reference that from our bot session record. I've got a few checkboxes here, some text fields, another lookup here. So the checkboxes are ultimately what gives us that very quick and simple look at the analytics to understand what's been happening with our chatbot, how are people interacting with it. So you'll be able to report, say, the last 30 days on our bot session records, which checkboxes were checked, and that'll give you the information that you need to be able to quickly summarize how is your bot making an impact. And then text fields, we can populate those as well. I'm going to jump over to the actual bot sessions. So I don't know about you guys, I personally love dynamic forms because in this case, the only thing that's checked is order issue, and I have a case number and a first name. Outside of that, all these other fields can be hidden. So for me, I personally like the option of hiding all that stuff, or at least breaking it into different sections that can make it much cleaner and much easier to understand what's going on this record that I'm looking at versus a full-blown, having to go through every single field to understand. Dynamic forms are dope. That's really the moral of the story I'm telling. So let's go ahead and jump back into our bot. Since we last met, created a new variable called bot session ID. This is a text variable. I used a text variable because in my flow, which we can go to right here, I have the actual variable stored as a text variable, this bot session ID right here. One really important thing to call out, this text variable is available for output, meaning that this variable can come out of my flow and go into the bot and be stored in the bot, so the bot can then pull it up and use it again later. Same thing with if we were getting information back from the bot, then this variable would need to be available for input. It just really depends on what your exposure is, but these two checkboxes, if you don't have visibility to some things that you need to see from your Einstein bot, make sure you check these checkboxes because it could be an issue here. I've got another flow that's going to reference our bot session from our previous flow, and then it's going to create a case, and then there's going to be some outputs. So again, our bot session ID is available for input on this one, just like it was available for output on our create bot session. The case ID description of issue is available for input as well, because this is going to be coming from our chat bot and then going to our flow. So let's look at what this actually looks like on our chatbot. So I have the Einstein Bot create bot session record flow on the welcome dialog. You can put it wherever you want. You could technically put it on the main menu, and I'll show you what that looks like to do that. So if we come to action, here are the options that are available under actions. So Apex, external service, flow, a couple of different log options, object search, send email. This is built in Aurora, so sometimes there's some weird things here. We're going to do flow. Let's do that. And now you can see the bot session ID output from the flow. it's asking me where I want to store that. So I would want to store that on my bot session ID. But I already have it on my welcome menu. Let's not abandon that. So I already have this exact same setup on my welcome menu. Let's say I wanted to put some logic into this. So some condition. So our bot session ID does not equal blank. And then in that case, we would have to create a new dialog in order to do this, is ultimately what that's telling me. So it's a little bit more complex that way. You could technically, if you wanted to have a separate dialog, we could actually build that if we wanted to. We'll just do is not set. So the bot session ID is not set. Then we need to call a dialog, and we're gonna have to create a new one for this, which is fine. Call this create bot session. I'm not gonna put any groups, and then let's delete that because we're in our create bot session. We're gonna put the exact same thing. I don't love how that's gonna flow, but we'll make it work. So next step is show menu, which would be, it's not going to be main menu. We're going to have to actually add our individual things in here. And the reason for that is because if we were to call the main menu, then we'll get that how can I help you message all over again. We don't really want that. And then our action, we need a flow. We're going to create a bot session record and store our variable there. Okay. We also have there's an issue with my order. Oh no, what's wrong with your order? That's where we're going to save our description. So they're going to type, food was bad, whatever. And then that description of issue is going to be put into our description of issue in our flow. And these are identical naming, just with the differentiation of var. You can do whatever you want. I like to match things up. That way it's much more clean cut for me. So let's go ahead and activate this, and I'm going to pop back to our bot session. So we are currently on bot session 8, so our next one will be 9. And if I could get to the right spot, there we go. Sorry for the bouncing around. And here we go. So hi, I'm DemoBot, a digital assistant. What can I help you with today? One thing I didn't show you is on our auto-launched flow. This is a flow type that I haven't really had a lot of exposure to prior to building a chatbot. Auto-launched flow is basically a flow that's placed somewhere and called from something else. So you can use auto-launch flows within other flows. You can use auto-launch flows from the chatbot. There's not really any other type of flow that I've seen that behaves well with the chatbot. And for the most part, I don't think anything else is even really an option. So auto-launch flow is cool. So this flow literally is just creating a bot session record, and then I have the first name field as test. You can do whatever you want there. And then the bot session ID is just the bot that is a variable, a text variable that comes from creating the bot session. So let's go back to our bot here, and let's say there's an issue with my order. Oh no, what's wrong with your order? Say food was cold. And nothing else is going to happen because we're waiting for customer input as our next step, which is not really a great next step at this point, but given the fact that this is halfway built, that's what you're going to get. So let's come back to our bot sessions. I'm going to refresh this, come to session 9. First name is test, as we expected. Order issue is checked. Again, that's the only thing we did, so that lines up. We have a case created, so if we come over here to our Einstein Einstein Bot issue with order flow, which was called from our chatbot. We can see that the first thing that the flow is doing is getting our bot session ID from our chatbot, and then it's getting that chatbot session. It's coming over here and creating a case where the description of issue from what we had as our input in the chatbot is now the description of that case. Status of the case is new, and the subject is order issue from bot session. And then it's doing the assignment and it's updating the bot session record. So if we come back to our bot session record here, we see our case. We can click into our case and we can see status is new. Subject is order issue from bot session, and the description is food is cold. So things are lining up. Now you're starting to see how some of these pieces can start to fit together to do some really interesting and cool things. I personally found this to be a gap that I was hoping to solve, and hopefully as somebody who's watching this video, you feel like you have a better understanding of the very basics of creating a chatbot and how you can start to use flows to really piece some of that stuff together. One other thing that I wanted to show you really quick is the Einstein Bot cookbook. If you are somebody who can follow directions really well, or if you have access to a developer, a lot of these things that are within the chatbot cookbook are really things that can help you take it to the next level. I highly recommend taking a look at this because you can literally take from like a pre-chat form. You can have somebody put in their first name, last name, email address. The bot can go and look in Salesforce to see if you already have the contact, and then relate that contact to the bot session just from that pre-chat form. You already have history with that person, and then you can start to really build a personalized relationship or a personalized experience with that person through your chatbot just by having a developer do some really minor things. Same thing with if you're using this in like a community, if they're already authenticated and logged in, I would assume you could do the same type of thing. I haven't personally done it, but I don't see a reason why you couldn't. So just some really interesting things that you can do if you're able to follow directions really well, this is all laid out very straightforward. Or if you have access to a developer, this is a very minor lift for most people. So thanks for tuning in. I hope you guys got some value from this. To my 2 subscribers, you're the best. And if I feel like there's anything else that I missed, I'll make another video, but I think this is probably the end of the series. So thanks for sticking with me. Have a good one.